I'll never forget the look on my mother's face when she saw my house for the first time. Not the proud, teary-eyed look you'd expect from a parent visiting their successful child's home. No, this was different. This was desperation. This was regret. This was the face of someone who realized they'd made the worst mistake of their life. 10 years too late. She stood there on my marble doorstep, rain soaking through her worn-out coat, mascara running down her cheeks, and she said the words I never thought I'd hear. "Please, Ethan, we have nowhere else to go." And you know what I said? The exact same words she said to me when I was 16 years old, standing in the rain with nothing but a backpack and $53 to my name. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me take you back to where this all started. Before we dive into this absolutely wild story of karma, justice, and the sweetest revenge you'll hear today, do me a favor if you've ever felt abandoned, underestimated, or cast aside by the people who were supposed to love you most. Hit that like button right now. Subscribe and turn on notifications because stories like this, they remind us that what goes around really does come around. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss how this ends. All right, let's get into it. It was November 12th. I remember because it was 3 days after my 16th birthday, a birthday nobody bothered to acknowledge. I came home from school that Tuesday afternoon, my sneakers squeaking on the hardwood floor of our middle-class suburban home, expecting the usual. My mom glued to her phone in the living room, my stepdad Derek in his home office pretending to work while actually watching sports. What I didn't expect was both of them sitting at the dining room table, looking at me like I was a stranger who'd just walked into the wrong house. "Sit down, Ethan," my mother Patricia said, her voice flat, emotionless. She didn't even look at me when she spoke, just stared at some spot on the table like it held the secrets of the universe. My stomach dropped. You know that feeling when you just know something terrible is about to happen? That's what I felt. My hands went clammy. My heart started hammering against my ribs. I sat. Derek cleared his throat, shuffling some papers in front of him like he was in a business meeting. "Your mother and I have been talking," he began, his voice taking on that fake sympathetic tone that made my skin crawl. "And we've decided that it's time for you to become more independent." I blinked. "What?" Patricia finally looked at me and her eyes were cold. So cold. "You're 16 now, Ethan. You're practically an adult. And frankly, Derek and I are starting a new chapter in our lives. We've decided to sell the house and move to Arizona. Derek's got a business opportunity there, and we're simplifying our lives." My brain couldn't process what I was hearing. "Okay, so when are we moving?" Derek actually laughed. "We're moving, kid, not you. You're old enough to figure things out on your own now." The room started spinning. You're kicking me out?" "We're giving you an opportunity to grow," Patricia said, and I swear to God she said it like she was doing me a favor. "We've packed your things. There are 2 suitcases by the door. We're giving you $500 to get started." $500? I practically screamed. "Where am I supposed to go?" "You're a smart kid," Derek said, standing up and straightening his polo shirt. "You'll figure it out. There are shelters, youth programs, friends' couches. Consider this your chance to become a man." I looked at my mother, the woman who gave birth to me, who I'd known for 16 years, and I searched her face for any sign of love, regret, or even basic human empathy. Nothing. "Mom, please," I whispered, my voice cracking. I wasn't too proud to beg, not then. "Please don't do this. I'll get a job. I'll help with bills. "The decision is made, Ethan," she interrupted, checking her phone like I was boring her. "We need you out by tonight. We have showings tomorrow." Tonight. They wanted me gone. Tonight. I sat there in shock for what felt like hours but was probably only seconds. Then Derek walked over, grabbed my arm, not gently, and pulled me to my feet. "Come on. Let's not make this harder than it needs to be." In a daze, I walked to the front door. 2 old suitcases sat there. Not even my suitcases, but these battered things they must have found in the garage. Next to them was a white envelope. I picked it up with shaking hands. Inside were 5 crisp $100 bills and a note in my mother's handwriting. Good luck. Make better choices. Mom, make better choices? What choices? What had I ever done except try to survive in a house where I always felt like an unwelcome guest after she married Derek when I was 12? I grabbed the suitcases, my vision blurring with tears I refused to let fall in front of them. Wait, Patricia called out, just as I reached the door. Hope flared in my chest for one stupid, naive second. Maybe she changed her mind. Maybe. Leave your house key on the table. That's when something inside me broke. And something else, something harder, colder, took its place. I pulled the key from my pocket, walked back to that dining room table, and slammed it down so hard the sound echoed through the house. I looked my mother dead in the eyes and said, "You're going to regret this." Derek laughed, actually laughed. "Sure, kid. We'll be losing sleep over it." His voice dripped with sarcasm. Patricia just waved her hand dismissively, already turning back to her phone. "Close the door on your way out. And Ethan, don't come back. We're serious about this fresh start. That includes cutting ties with the past, with you." That first night, I slept in a 24-hour laundromat. I sat in one of those hard plastic chairs, my suitcases guarding me like useless sentries, and I watched my clothes spin in a dryer I'd paid $2 to run, just so I'd have a reason to be there. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. A homeless man in the corner kept muttering to himself. The smell of detergent mixed with body odor made me nauseous. I was 16 years old. I had $500, 2 suitcases of clothes, and absolutely nowhere to go. I couldn't stop shaking. Not from cold, but from shock. From betrayal. From the crushing realization that the 2 people who were supposed to love me unconditionally had just discarded me, like trash, like I meant nothing. I called my best friend Marcus. His mom answered. "Hi, Mrs. Chen, is Marcus there?" "It's Ethan." "Oh, Ethan, sweetie, he's asleep. It's almost midnight. Is everything okay?" I opened my mouth to tell her everything, to beg for help, but pride stuck in my throat. "Yeah, everything's fine. I'll call him tomorrow." I hung up before she could ask more questions. The next 3 weeks were a blur of survival. I couch-surfed at Marcus's place for a few days until his parents started asking too many questions. I told them my mom was on a work trip, and I didn't like being home alone. They believed me because why wouldn't they? Who kicks out their own kid? I stayed at a youth shelter for 5 nights until I couldn't take the danger anymore. Someone tried to steal my suitcase while I slept, and a fight broke out that ended with police and ambulances. I slept in parks, in a library bathroom, in the back of a Denny's parking lot. I rationed that $500 like my life depended on it, because it did. A $1 menu burger had to last the entire day. I showered at the community center using my school gym membership. I kept my clothes as clean as possible because I was determined not to let anyone at school know I was homeless. Every morning, I'd show up to class like everything was normal. I'd do my homework in the library, ace my tests, participate in discussions. On the outside, I was Ethan Parker, regular junior year student. On the inside, I was terrified, exhausted, angry. So angry. But that anger, that became my fuel. Everything changed because of Mr. Harold Chen. No relation to Marcus, just a coincidence. He was my computer science teacher, and he noticed something was off. One day after class, he asked me to stay behind. "Ethan, are you okay? You've been falling asleep in class, and frankly, you look terrible." I tried to brush it off. "I'm fine, Mr. Chen, just not sleeping well." He looked at me for a long moment, then said something that changed my life. "I'm going to tell you something I don't share with many students. When I was 17, my parents kicked me out because I wanted to pursue computer science instead of medicine. I was homeless for 8 months. My head snapped up. He knew. I survived because someone gave me a chance. I'm going to give you that chance. I need a part-time assistant to help with after-school coding clubs and weekend workshops. It pays $15 an hour, plus you can use the computer lab whenever you need. Interested?" I nearly cried right there in his classroom. Yes, absolutely. Thank you." He held up his hand. "Don't thank me yet. I'm going to work you hard. And Ethan, whatever situation you're in, I don't need details, but focus that energy into learning. Learn everything you can about programming, about building, about creating value. Because one day you'll have the chance to prove everyone wrong who ever doubted you. You'll want to be ready. That job saved my life. The money meant I could afford a room in a boarding house with 4 other guys. It was cramped, dirty, and smelled like mildew. But it had a door that locked, and a mattress that wasn't a park bench. More importantly, Mr. Chen became my mentor. He taught me Python, JavaScript, C++. He showed me how to think like a developer, how to solve problems, how to build things that mattered. I became obsessed. While other kids my age were at parties or playing video games, I was coding. 12, 14, sometimes 16 hours a day. I'd work on school assignments, then Mr. Chen's projects, then my own ideas late into the night. I barely slept. I lived on ramen and tap water, but I was learning, growing, building, and I was plotting. By senior year, I'd built my first app, a study tool that used AI to create personalized learning plans. It wasn't revolutionary, but it was good. I launched it for free, and within 3 months, 50,000 students were using it. Mr. Chen helped me monetize it with a premium version. Suddenly, at 17, I was making $3,000 a month. It wasn't life-changing money, but to a kid who'd survived on dollar menu burgers, it was everything. I graduated high school with a 4.0 GPA and a full scholarship to State University for computer science. Patricia and Derek didn't come to my graduation. I didn't invite them. I hadn't spoken to them once in 2 years. In college, I went harder. I took maximum course loads, worked freelance development jobs, and launched 2 more apps. One failed miserably. The other, a productivity tool for freelancers, took off. By my junior year, I'd sold that app for $480,000 to a tech company. $480,000. At 20 years old. I remember sitting in my dorm room, staring at my bank account and just laughing, crying. I don't even know. It was surreal. But I didn't slow down. I invested most of that money into my next venture, a SaaS platform for small businesses to manage their customer relationships. I hired 3 developers, a designer, and poured every ounce of energy into making it perfect. It launched the year I graduated. Within 18 months, we had 10,000 paying customers. Within 3 years, we'd been acquired for $22 million. $22 million. My cut after investors and employees? $8.7 million. I was 25 years old, and I was rich, but I still wasn't satisfied, because success wasn't enough. I wanted more. I wanted to build something so big, so undeniable, that everyone who ever doubted me would have to see it. I took most of that money and started my current company, a cloud-based enterprise software platform. We grew like wildfire. I hired aggressively, scaled fast, and made the right moves at the right time. Last year, we went public. Our current valuation? $340 million. My personal net worth? Just over $95 million. I bought a house in the hills, 6 bedrooms, infinity pool, home theater, the works. It's the kind of house I used to imagine when I was sleeping on park benches. And I never, not once, thought about Patricia and Derek, until 6 months ago. I was in my home office on a Tuesday morning, taking a video call with investors, when my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Usually, I ignore those. But something made me look. "Ethan, this is your mother. I know we haven't spoken in a long time, but I really need to talk to you. It's important. Please call me." I stared at that message for a solid minute. My heart rate spiked. Old wounds I thought had healed suddenly ripped open. I didn't respond. 3 days later, another text. "Ethan, please. I'm begging you. We need your help." She said we. Then my phone rang. The same unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answered. "Hello?" "Oh, thank God. Ethan, honey, it's Mom." Her voice. After 9 years, her voice. It was older, shakier, but unmistakably hers. "Don't call me that," I said coldly. "What do you want, Patricia?" Silence. Then, I deserve that. Ethan, listen. Derek and I are in serious trouble. The business in Arizona failed. We lost everything. We're being evicted from our apartment, and we have nowhere to go. I saw an article about your company going public, and I thought, you thought you'd cash in? I interrupted, my voice ice. You kicked me out at 16, told me never to come back, and now you want my help? We made a mistake, she cried, and now she was sobbing, full-on sobbing. We were young and stupid and selfish, and I've regretted it every single day since. Please, Ethan, we're desperate. We're going to be homeless. You're our only hope. The irony was almost funny. Almost. Where are you? I asked. What? Where are you? We're in a motel outside Phoenix, but we can only afford it for 3 more days. Send me the address. I'll wire you money for a flight here. Both of you. We'll talk in person. Really? Hope flooded her voice. Oh, Ethan, thank you so much. I knew you'd... I hung up. 2 days later, a taxi pulled up to my house. I watched from my window as Patricia and Derek climbed out, their faces slack with awe as they took in the estate. They looked old, worn down. Patricia's hair had gone mostly gray. Derek had a beer gut and tired eyes. They each carried a single suitcase. The same kind of battered suitcases they'd given me 9 years ago. Poetic, really. I opened the door before they could knock. Patricia's hand flew to her mouth. Oh, Ethan, look at you. You're so grown up, so successful. I'm so proud. Stop, I cut her off. Come in. They shuffled inside, their eyes darting everywhere. The vaulted ceilings, the chandelier, the original artwork on the walls. Ethan, this place is incredible, Derek said, attempting his old salesman charm. You really made something of yourself, huh? I always knew you had potential. I didn't respond. Just led them to the living room and gestured to the couch. They sat, perched on the edge like nervous job applicants. I stood, arms crossed, looking down at them. So, I began, my voice calm. Let me make sure I understand. You kicked me out when I was 16 years old. You gave me $500 and told me to figure it out. You told me not to come back. You said you were starting a new chapter that didn't include me. Does that about sum it up? Patricia wrung her hands. Ethan, we were wrong. So wrong. I don't know what we were thinking. Derek's business seemed like such a sure thing, and we thought... You thought you'd be set for life and didn't need the burden of a teenage kid, I finished. Did you ever think about me? In 9 years, did you ever wonder if I was alive? Safe? Successful? Silence. I'll take that as a no. I walked to the window, my back to them. Do you know where I slept the first night you kicked me out? Ethan, a laundromat. I slept in a laundromat, then a youth shelter where someone tried to rob me, then parks, parking lots, library bathrooms. I was 16 years old and I was homeless because my own mother decided I wasn't worth keeping around. We were terrible, Patricia burst out, standing. We were the worst parents imaginable. But we're here now, admitting it, asking for forgiveness. Doesn't that count for something? I turned to face her. You're not here for forgiveness, Patricia. You're here for money. If I were still broke, sleeping in that laundromat, would you be here? Would you even know I existed? Her mouth opened and closed, but no words came out. Derek stood too, and I saw anger flicker in his eyes. That old, familiar anger from when I was a kid, and he'd yell at me for existing too loudly. Look, we get it. You're mad, but we're family, and family helps family. We need a place to stay while we get back on our feet. You have 6 bedrooms in this place. Surely you can spare one for your own mother. Family? I laughed, but there was no humor in it. You're absolutely right, Derek. Family does help family. So let me help you the exact same way you helped me. I walked to the entryway, opened a drawer in the console table, and pulled out 2 envelopes. I'd prepared them the night before. I handed one to each of them. Patricia opened hers with shaking hands. Inside were 5 $100 bills. That's $500, I said. The same amount you gave me. Use it to figure things out. There are shelters, job programs, friends' couches. You'll make it work. You're adults after all. You're smart. You'll figure it out. Patricia's face went white. You can't be serious. Oh, I'm dead serious. I opened the front door, the cool evening air rushing in. Consider this your opportunity to grow, to become better people. Don't waste it. Ethan, please. Patricia dropped to her knees, literally begging. "I'm your mother. You can't do this. We'll die out there." "You didn't die." "I didn't die," I said softly, "and I was 16. You're both in your 50s. You've got way more life experience than I did. I believe in you." Derek's face turned red. "You ungrateful little... We raised you. We fed you, clothed you, gave you a home for 16 years. And this is how you repay us?" "You're right," I nodded. "You did raise me for 16 years. Thank you for that. But you also taught me the most valuable lesson I ever learned, that I can only count on myself. That blood means nothing if there's no love behind it. That family is a privilege, not a right, and it can be revoked at any time. You were excellent teachers." I reached into my pocket and pulled out a business card, blank except for my old house key taped to it. "Wait," Patricia whispered, staring at the key. "Is that the key you made me leave on the table?" "Yeah, I kept it. Carried it in my wallet for 9 years as a reminder. A reminder of the night I stopped being a child and started becoming the man standing in front of you now. The man who built all of this with no help from anyone named Parker." I placed the card in her shaking hand. "Now leave. And Patricia, Derek, don't come back. I'm serious about this fresh start. That includes cutting ties with the past. With you." I watched the words hit them, their own words thrown back like daggers. Patricia collapsed, sobbing hysterically. Derek tried to help her up, his face a mixture of rage and shock. "You'll regret this," he spat as he dragged Patricia toward the door. "Karma's real, kid. What goes around comes around." "I know," I said quietly. "That's exactly what this is." I watched them stumble down my driveway, their silhouettes getting smaller and smaller, carrying those pathetic suitcases. The taxi was long gone. They'd have to walk to find a phone, a bus, something, just like I did. I closed the door, and I felt nothing. No triumph. No satisfaction. Just emptiness. I poured myself a whiskey and sat on my couch, the same couch they'd sat on minutes before, and I stared at that old house key. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying the scene. Patricia on her knees, Derek's rage, their desperation. Part of me felt guilty. A small part. The part that remembered Patricia reading me bedtime stories when I was little, before Derek came into the picture. The part that remembered she was still my mother, biologically at least. But then I remembered that laundromat. The shelters, the fear, the hunger, the crushing loneliness of being 16 and utterly, completely alone. And the guilt evaporated. Around 3 a.m., my phone buzzed. A text from Patricia's number. "You've become a monster. I hope you're proud of yourself." I typed back. "I became a survivor. There's a difference. Lose this number." I blocked them both. That was 6 months ago. I haven't heard from them since. Part of me wonders where they ended up. Another part, the part that waited 9 years for this moment, doesn't care. Here's what I learned from all of this. Revenge doesn't actually feel how you think it will. It doesn't erase the pain. It doesn't undo the trauma. When I was sleeping in parks, I used to fantasize about this exact scenario, having wealth and power while they had nothing, making them beg, turning them away. And when it finally happened, it felt hollow. But you know what? It also felt necessary, like closing a chapter that had been left open for too long, like finally standing up to the bullies who happened to share my DNA. They taught me that love is conditional, that family can abandon you without warning, that sometimes the people who are supposed to protect you will be the ones who hurt you most. But they also accidentally taught me resilience, self-reliance, the ability to survive anything life throws at me. Would I trade all my success to have had a normal, loving family? Maybe. I don't know. What I do know is that I built something real from nothing, and I did it without them. And that's something they can never take away from me, no matter how many tearful calls or desperate texts they send. Some people say what I did was cruel, that I should have been the bigger person, that 2 wrongs don't make a right. To those people I say, walk a mile in my 16-year-old shoes, sleep in a laundromat, eat 1 meal a day for 3 weeks, feel what it's like to be discarded by your own mother, then tell me about being the bigger person. Karma isn't cruel. Karma is just balanced. They gave me nothing. I gave them nothing back. Perfectly balanced as all things should be. And honestly, I sleep just fine. So what do you think? Was I justified or did I take it too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I genuinely want to know. This story has divided everyone I've told it to, so let's see where you all land. If this story resonated with you, whether you've experienced abandonment, betrayal, or just love a good karma tale, smash that like button. It actually helps more people find these stories and feel less alone in their own struggles. And obviously, subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell, because I post revenge stories, justice tales, and wildlife experiences every single week. Trust me, if you like this one, you're going to love what's coming next. Thanks for listening to my story. I'm Ethan, and remember, sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's simply living well, but sometimes actual revenge feels pretty damn good too. Catch you in the next one.